Ready to start. So welcome. Ethics, trust and usability in speech technology is the course topic here today. As we already heard, it's part of the GIAN network. Actually, only after accepting to come here, I understood how important this program is, so I'm very honored to be here today. We start with what you are supposed to learn this week here. Confidence and experience in discussing ethical issues with speech technology. So, discussing here is the key word. Ethics and trust cannot be learned by just, you can read a book, although Jolly said that there are no books about this topic, probably true, but you can read resources, but you don't really, you really need to discuss them to get the experience with ethics. There are no hard truths, there are no specific, so there's always kind of a discussion. So that is part of ethics, and that's why, like Jolly already said, we're going to discuss this week. There's going to be lots of discussions, and you should be prepared to talk to your...
Well, how do you define ethics?
Sorry?
How do you define ethics?
I think Jolly will define ethics. I'm an engineer. I have a very practical approach to ethics. So that's confidence. So through discussions on this course, I hope that you gain confidence and a bit of experience as well with ethics. Oh, changing on that. Yes, now. And then understanding the range of issues of privacy and trust. So privacy and trust, they are broad issues. They really have impact on really just about everything. So that we want to have just a kind of overview of the types of things that you might encounter when you start thinking about privacy, speech technology and trust. I would claim that we can make a long list of topics, but it's never going to be a complete topic on a list. It's always going to be new topics to be found, so they cannot be complete. And then also the subjective perception. So it's not about, for example, privacy. It's not only about what information is actually leaked. It's also how we feel about it. And that's a big difference in the kind of the objective truths, whether the subjective perception of how it feels to be using a device. And that then leaks into the user interface design part. That how should devices and services be designed with respect to ethics, trust, and privacy. So basically, user interface design is a critical component of the whole, any privacy preserving or trustworthy service. And then a bit more like technical or like objective part is the ability to identify threats to sustainability of privacy and detrimental consequences of kind of untrustworthy systems from like both individual kind of perspective, but also legal perspective. And well, those are the kind of obvious parts, the individual and legal. But what is not so often discussed, at least in the engineering circles, there's also the societal and economic levels of problems with trust and privacy. And of course, when we have problems, we also need to look at kind of mitigation. So what kinds of things we can do to resolve privacy problems or trust problems. And I hope that we could also do some project works that will be done mostly after this course, where we get hands-on experience with specific implementations. That remains to be seen how we do that practical part of this. And that's actually lots of things remain to be seen. This is first time this course ever has been. So I collected this material for this course, which makes me a bit nervous, a bit kind of scared of how this will go. But that's good. Learning happens when you are a bit outside the usual. So I'm here to learn. So and I'm trying to make you learn, but also I'm here to learn. So I hope you are also in a kind of a bit outside the comfort zone, but not too much so. That's the place where learning happens. And yes, there was already introductions. So I'm from Aalto University, that's in Finland. I've kind of been born in Finland and lived there. I spent, my education is from Aalto University. I spent 8 years in Germany in between Fraunhofer Institute, which is the place where MP3 was invented. So basically, all your audio on the devices is from Fraunhofer originally. Very lucky to be in that team, and also there we did lots of speech and audio coding. So that's basically the earlier career for me was transmission of speech and audio. I would bet that every one of your phones have my C code inside. So particularly proud of that. The standards you are now using are, I contribute those. But after the kind of leaving Fraunhofer, then privacy became the main thing. I realized that coding is pretty much, it works. All the phones work. So trying to identify the next big problem, I thought privacy would be the next problem. And that's what I've been now doing for the past 12 years, more or less. Jolly is, of course, here a very big part of this course. I'm not sure if Prasanna will have time to participate, but we'll see. But there are rules. I mean, when there's discussion, I also I've learned that it's actually important to have a bit of rules. There's some very basic rules. Should be obvious, but then sometimes it clearly will be obvious. So we will just discuss topics in smaller and bigger groups, and to have good discussions. Topics, arguments, so content argues with each other, not people. Someone can have an argument, but we are not criticized. Well, even if that argument will be poor, it's not the person who is poor, it's the argument which can be lacking.
Are we recording those?
Sorry?
Are we recording those discussions?
Yes, everything.
Everything, okay. But there will be lots of like small group discussions as well, which are of course we will not record small groups, or it's not practically possible, but the big group discussions are recorded. We will not have any political, religious, sexual or otherwise abusive comments. Very strict on that. And distinction here. We have to discuss, not debate. The difference is that in a debate, someone is the winner. There is no best ethics. There is just, yes, this way or that way, and there's the compromises. Everything is a compromise. So keep that in mind. We want to have a discussion. And because discussion is part of the way we learn here. So if you want to learn, you should participate. I cannot force anyone to participate, but I strongly encourage you to. And also, nobody should dominate. That should be kind of, that everyone should have the opportunity to talk. And even the silent ones have usually the best ideas after all. So try to include everyone in the small group discussions. And of course also, I try to include everyone in the big group discussions. And one person at a time, so listening is important, even in discussion that's important. Pros and cons, yes. So no right answers, what you mentioned. Yes, seek to understand, not to be understood. So try to learn in the discussion. So, now, first time we practice discussion. Greetings to your peers. People around you, say hi to them. Do a handshake or nod or elbow rub or whatever creative greeting you might find. But wait, I need to do all this first. And you have a task. Find out how your motivation is different from your peers. So why you are here. So why your motivation to be here is different from your peers. So let's spend 3 minutes on that. Oh, yes, go ahead, start. I'm here now to start off. Let's say you. How was your motivation different from your colleagues to be here? So the question. So how is your motivation different from your peers?
I just walked in.
Okay, if you just walked in, so I take the next one. How is your motivation different from your colleagues?
Same, I just wanted to learn.
Sorry?
I just wanted to learn about it.
You want to learn about, yes. And how are your colleagues' motivation different?
Me?
Yes.
So, some coming from a philosophical angle, like in terms of, there is ethics as well as philosophical angle for speech, right? And I'm coming from a technological angle, like in terms of privacy.
Okay. So we need to practice a bit to kind of really to dive deep into the question. So it's nice to have a discussion, but also trying to focus it to the goal here. So and the purpose, of course, of this discussion was that you will talk with your colleagues around you. So getting to know them a bit is a good warming up for that. This is a rough sketch of the contents of the course. So diversity, mostly today. Actually, there's missing. Jolly's part is entirely missing from this list now. So ethics is tomorrow, and privacy. So what I'm most known for is my work in privacy. But then the next two, perception of privacy and trustworthiness, those are newer research areas in my teams. And sustainability. Because it's a new course, I'm not entirely sure of how long each component will last. So if we take more time on these first ones, then the sustainability will perhaps drop off. But it's there to make sure that we have material for the whole week. I hope that the first ones would actually last for the whole week. We'll see. And basically, this is more like just the schedule of today, and this is also the structure of the lectures. Most of the days that we have lectures here in the morning, so the inaugural session and then lecture. So introduction, this slides now. I thought about diversity and human values-centric speech technology. Again, these lengths of these are a bit unknown. It's very hard to estimate how things in this conversation format will take. And then the group work, every afternoon we'll have group work where the plan is to discuss then what kind of projects or experiments we could do or you could do in these areas. Tomorrow then is Jolly Thomas here, JT. Do you want to say something about this or just this is the contents?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, so I'll be talking on ethics part. So basically we'll cover the normative ethical frameworks. First we will see within ethics what questions that one could ask. Then survey some of the theories in normative ethics. And yes, so some problems could be discussed on in meta-ethical aspects of the speech technology. So that's basically, then we'll have group discussion. Yeah.
Okay. And I believe we have the tea breaks and lunch breaks around the same time every day. And then Wednesday, overview of speech and technology, that's part I might have to take over if it wasn't unavailable. And then basically the rest of the day is privacy. So that's probably the longest part of the course, privacy. Thursday is trust and trustworthiness, as well as perception of privacy and user interface design. This is one area where I probably get the kind of most of discussions that there's some group works there which are hopefully thought-provoking. And then on Friday, well, we could go into this data ethics decision aid. So it's an impact analysis tool. So when you have a project, when you have a new project or service starting, you should all, at least the European legal framework, the GDPR, you have to do an impact analysis. So you have to study what is the privacy and trust impact of this new service. And this is a tool for that. So it's basically a list of questions which you should ask yourself, or in the project team where you are creating that new service, with all the stakeholders, where you discuss then how does this impact different things. I've used it a few times now, and I found it that the discussions always tend to be quite exciting. Messy, but exciting. But that's how I actually expect this whole discussion to be. Well, I think, today we are mostly engineers, but there are also ethics or philosophy students here. But when you start to get more stakeholders included, things get even more messier. We have to learn to discuss with each other. Basically, kind of different fields have different language. Even if they talk English, they have a different way of expressing themselves, and that makes it difficult to get understood. So yes, so group works, what I intend to have here is that each day would end with a group work where we try to identify some projects or kind of what we could work on, and I hope then that, so basically we would collect ideas of what kind of projects we could do, and then after the course you would implement them. Hopefully we have new ideas every day. Plenty of ideas. If you have like 5 ideas every day, it's great, because then you can choose the best one. If you only get one idea of the whole week, you're stuck with that one idea. It might not be a good one. So try to collect a list of ideas of what kind of things you would like to work on, and then you can choose the best one out of those. So it could be, for example, an academic paper. So if you are a PhD student, obviously you want to always have papers. So it could be a new paper you want to write about something related. Or if you are at a company, then it could be kind of something related to the product or products or services we are doing in the company. I think it's, so actually those company things are quite good, because that becomes much more concrete. The academic projects can be a bit too vague. You cannot say that you want to do something with ASR, automatic speech recognition. Need to be more kind of concrete and more specific. It's very hard to get into the details of the ethics problems unless you have a solid connection to the use case, very specific. I meant to put Prism like an online platform this, but we'll start with this just as a discussion format without that link now. Yes, but so let's start discussing now, or in a small groups first discuss, let's say the two first questions. We start to discuss them in small groups for 3 to 5 minutes. Just try to identify what you already know about speech interfaces and devices. What are speech interfaces and devices, and what speech applications? And now applications are different from devices in that, like, let's say your phone now, and giving away already one device. Your phone is a device, but it has lots of different services. It can do searching, or you can make questions to some assistant or like that. So those are applications, but the devices are different from that. So what categories are available? What do you know? Let's discuss that for 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll try to write them up here on the blackboard. What we kind of have found. Make a sign to me more or less when you are ready. And group size is 2 to 3 persons is a good group size. Okay, go ahead. I wrote here down devices and applications. I actually didn't ask for it, but I write here an extra column for algorithms. Right. Give some examples of something. Someone, start.
See, in Bangalore, there is a school which has got a teaching robot.
Teaching robot.
Teacher. Okay. So the students, whatever questions they want to ask, they ask that robot and the robot replies.
Okay. So the device is a robot. Okay. First one.
Bluetooth.
Sorry?
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. So it's a speech. Let's see. So yes, you can transmit speech with Bluetooth. Perhaps I put it. It's not a device. It's
Devices and the line comes in a lot of modes.
yes, it comes. Perhaps I put it here for modules and algorithms. Here, Bluetooth. Is this font large enough that you can see?
A little
Bit larger, okay.
for the online part.
Yeah.
Okay. We have Alexa, Google Home, home automation devices,
Blue.
the door and Jarvis.
So, okay. So you said Google and
Google Home,
Alexa.
then home automation. See, many of the CCTVs, home automation.
Yeah, but then now we have time to write down.
There are devices.
Yes, so it's also kind of
Speech enabled.
Google Home, also you call that category, Alexa,
Device.
home assistants. That's home, those are, I would call them home assistants because they serve multiple people. And then,
Hearing aid.
sorry?
Hearing aid.
Hearing aids, very good. Hearing aids, good. More. You said you have like already other, so you have the cameras.
CCTV, the
CCTV.
closed circuit TV cameras in home or in even in a campus like here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about, so that's the, basically camera is the device then.
It's a totally platform.
Camera, or video camera, basically. So only video cameras have audio in them, so.
Large language models that
That's
called
it.
algorithm models.
that's a module. So LM. So it's part of a service. Yes.
VCO2, a Chinese module, offline voice recognition module.
So voice recognition or speaker recognition.
No, it's a offline voice recognition
Yeah.
module.
Okay.
VCO2.
Voice recognition. So you refer to an application where you try to identify the speaker.
No, it's a module, sir.
Yes, module, yes. But so what does it do then?
It like a form of STP type thing,
Speak.
or speech to text, where it can.
Okay, so speech. Okay, speech recognition. So the text to speech. So speech. These are modules. So that they're kind of speech recognition. And the reason I didn't ask for them is that they are generic. There's no ethics involved because you can use them in many different ways. There's so many things that could happen depending on what you do. So that's why we actually will focus on this column, which is empty.
Sign language to speech conversion.
Sign language. Okay. Sign to speech. Oh, my font is getting too small again. Sorry? Speech to speech. Okay, speech to speech. Still a module.
Applications, can it be Alexa or Siri?
Yes, so those are, yes. So assistants.
Yes.
So
Voice assistants like Alexa,
yeah.
Siri?
So actually, home assistant is actually also an application. Basically, you could put it both places. So home.
Application we can see navigation system.
Sorry?
Navigation system.
Navigation, yes. And here we have navigation here as well. So one sorry?
Speech coding.
Speech coding module, yes. Coding. Font is difficult.
Speech synthesis.
Synthesis, okay. So, what applications do you use those things in?
Speaker recognition?
And one more, speech enhancement is also.
Yeah, enhancement and speaker enhancement.
Application recommendation system.
That was, let's see, there was speaker recognition. Speaker recognition. So, you said recommendation system, yes. What type of in what context?
In context like YouTube and all, if you say something.
Yeah, okay. So recommendation.
Machine translation.
It could also be the modules. So
A voice bot
yeah.
for call center applications.
A call center, yes. So perhaps this hearing aid would also be an application, basically. At least the basic use of hearing aids is also a service. Hearing aid. Okay. Sorry? Transcribing, yes. So like in YouTube, transcription. So that is actually both a module and a service.
A MIDI controller.
Medical.
MIDI controller. Music interface device.
media controller or what?
Music instrument digital interface
Okay.
application.
Yeah. Okay. So, I still didn't catch what you said actually.
Like it will take the music things and it will convert into like it is an application where you can use the like different type of musical instrument.
Okay, but that's it is an application, but it's not speech related. It's music. Okay.
Video conferencing, audio conferencing.
Yeah, that's very big. You just first somebody.
Speaker diarization.
Diarization from serious. Diarization is part of. So diarization refers to identifying who speaks when. I'm just trying to translate it to those who are not engineers. So you have
Video conferencing, audio
Yes.
conferencing. Can we place them in application?
yes, application. Yes, that's part of the telecommunication in general. I would say that's part.
No, we have software like WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That it helps to do the audio conferencing.
That's all.
We also have chatbots which do interview of HR.
Teleconferencing. So, and
Counseling chatbots. Counseling chatbots.
counseling, yeah, so there's chatbots in different chatbots. So that's connected now. The call centers can be also chatbots, but so it can have different then subdivisions to that category. And of course, to discuss the ethical things, we need to also do the subdivision. It's very different to have a counseling chatbot than from have a call center like a.
No, chatbot it could be even in a website.
Yeah.
So giving information, and also in HR today now they are screening the employees, or they are giving, trying to select people based
Yeah.
on certain skill sets and
Yeah.
knowledge.
Those are then, that's true that those are different applications in practice, but they belong to the same category. So then,
Forensic applications.
sorry?
Forensic applications.
Forensic, yes. Forensic applications. I just want to mention a few of my own as well. I'm using a microphone here, which is a device. It is a speech application. Speech goes in and speech comes out. So microphone. Yes.
Disability training, speech training for disability.
Okay. Yes. Yes. So speech training. Training. So it's most for medical purposes, but it can also be for just language learning or like a public speaking, voice training. All right, so we don't need to have a complete list here. I just wanted to have a list of kind of representative list so that you get the idea that it's really a wide range of things. People usually think about phones. By phones here. Phones. And basically the teleconferencing is all just calling with the phone, just classical phone use is speech technology. But so yes, I wanted to have a understanding that there is actually a very wide range of things we can look at. So it's not only about LLMs, it's not only about phones or home assistants. And once we start to do the subdivisions of these to the specific applications, then we can start to look at the ethical implications. And what is under there is important for engineers, and it's important to discuss. So it's a like topic of discussion let's say a call center, there is going to be speech recognition and there's going to be enhancement and all that stuff and coding involved. But that's background information. It's not the center of the discussion. And one feature which I often see with engineers is that they talk only about algorithms. But talking about, let's say, privacy or trust, when you have only a speech recognition engine, you don't get anywhere. You don't know what the implications actually would be unless you start to talk about applications. All right, let's take one more similar round with these three questions here now. So, what are the questions and problems of ethics, or you can identify in the use and development. So both during use, when people actually have the device in hand, but also when building or researching speech technology. And also importantly to look at, start to think about what are the stakeholders. Who are the ones who basically could suffer, who are the ones who make choices, who are observers bystanders. And then just a short, also think about, let's leave this trust thing to next round. We'll look at just these two things first now. So again, let's say 5 minutes of discussion in the same small groups. to start? Back there, I haven't heard anything from people over there. So, ethical problems. Speak up.
Lack of compatible data in speech translation.
Language compatibility. So yes, so that is a problem. How is it an ethical problem?
Like, when we are going through translation, things we can able to get that much amount of data that can able to get translated.
I'm a bit in trouble hearing you.
Like for the purpose of translation,
Yes.
we are working. For that, we require a lot of amount of data, but we are not into that. We are not getting that much amount of data for that translation.
Okay. It's better if you can use a microphone here. So say that we need lots of data for language translation. Yeah. That is a kind of engineering problem. Yes.
Yes. For the engineering problem,
Yes.
the data request the data requirement will be more.
Hmm?
The data requirement will be more for the translation purpose.
Yeah.
But the real data what we are able to collect will be comparatively less as compared to the data what we are getting.
Yes.
That might be a problem. Engineering problem.
Okay, so it's an engineering problem. But now, yes, it's a real problem that engineers need to solve. But how does the ethics come in there? What problems does that present to the end users, for example?
Like the data might be safe or not for providing them those kind of data. That might also be an issue.
Okay, so your colleague seems to have a continuation of that.
This is regarding the speaker recognition. When it is dependent on the emotions or age, there could be a wrong recognition of a speaker. Ethically, it could be wrong when you are using it for a biometric authentication or forensic. That might lead to misclassification or misrecognition of a person due to the age difference or noise, or it could be emotions.
Yeah, so misclassification, let's say, that's not starting point. Misclassification. But now, this is still an engineering concept.
Yes, speaker identification.
So, what consequences does that have to the, let's say now, the end user?
When it comes to biometric, in identifying the wrong person is not acceptable. Type 1 error.
Yeah.
So that ethically it is wrong to identify a wrong person when you are using for a biometric authentication or forensic, which is a very privacy concern. In such cases, that could be a problem.
Yeah. So I will still have to take a few more steps deeper to make it like ethical problem. So misclassification is the classification is then the purpose of this application in some sense.
Person identification system. For person identification system, if your identification is not identifying correctly, maybe due to the environment change or emotions of the person, then it could be problem ethically. Yeah.
So yes, but you're right. Yes, so I'm just trying to make the complete the argument. So if the purpose of the application is to make some sort of classification, and that classification is sometimes wrong. That is a problem, but that's the intended task. So that's what we are trying to do, and yes, we try to do it as well as we can. It becomes a problem, for example, when let's say an ethnic group would be more often misclassified. So that some gender group would be more often, so that they would be a I forget the important word, but bias. Yes, bias based on the character of the person, such that some groups get worse service than others. So, and we have your bias here. Misclassification bias. That is an ethical problem that we have different groups have different, especially if it's a vulnerable group which gets worse performance. That is a big problem, and actually at the center of the whole course. But I still want to return to translation task. I think we had something there left. So translation would also be basically the same thing. That if there's in the accuracy of translation, there would be bias. That some, let's say, accents are worse off than others. Then some vulnerable groups, for example, would have poor performance of that. And actually, it's usually the vulnerable groups who need the translation the most. So those who already have benefits get benefits, and those who don't have benefits don't get benefits. So that is the kind of the central issue here.
What about emotions?
Emotions,
It was
yes.
told with different, anger, or sad, or excitement.
Yeah, but then we get the kind of really different category of problems. Emotions. What would be the?
The same word when somebody is angry,
Yeah.
somebody is excited,
Yeah.
somebody is happy, they told say
Yes.
that in different ways.
Yes.
Then this comes to.
So in speech recognition, that is often an issue. But can you think of an ethical issue with that?
So we have
If it gives a wrong answer.
Sorry?
We have an online participant.
Okay. Quick.
You can unmute it.
Yeah. So it's a quick question.
You can
Sorry. So the. Or perhaps if you have oh yeah, perhaps we shouldn't do that. Written questions, you can read out written questions.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, now we hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we hear you. You have a question?
Hello.
Hearing problem. There's another problem.
Yeah, but let's see the emotion thing.
They're saying the speaker is not audible.
Okay.
Emotional recognition.
Oh, this is turned off. Yes, now I'm back online. I don't know how it turned itself off. But so, I mean, just the emotion problem points out a different problem.
Emotional recognition.
So, what ethical problems could you have with emotions in speech?
Wrong understanding.
Wrong understanding, yeah, but that's a performance issue. So
Wrong response.
wrong response, yeah.
How they train the model to figure out what's the appropriate emotion. Like,
Okay.
they may have understood some feature that the person who expressed the emotion wouldn't actually want to have revealed to.
So then it becomes a misclassification problem, yes. But so, what is the problem with that then?
So for example, I think I can explain it with an example. So,
Yeah.
like let's say I say that I give you a long explanation about why I'm angry, and then you figure out from that I have some childhood issue, let's say.
Yeah.
So you may be able to infer that I was, let's say, not treated well when I was a child. So those kind of things.
Ah, okay. So then we get into the privacy problem
Yes.
from the emotion problem. Okay. So things are revealed from you which you feel that should not be
Yes.
available to the service provider.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So privacy. There was someone, yes, back there.
Data security, like how the data is stored, used, and the third-party access can misuse that.
Yeah, okay. Yes, that's the security issue.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, have to take the extra step of trying to make that an ethical problem. So, so what happens if security is breached.
The data can be misused.
In what way? Yeah?
When it comes to healthcare sector,
Hmm?
predicting a depression, some like disclosing a patient's details, which is not allowed,
Yeah.
they can violate the privacy
Yeah. So
in healthcare.
exactly. It becomes a privacy issue. Yes.
Yes. And court proceedings for a banking sector, where there's a legal activity will be done, those records should not be misused.
Yeah.
Their privacy would be a problem.
Yeah. So that yes, that's true. Then it becomes like a wider problem if like
Yeah.
it could end up in theft of things or something.
Yeah.
Or,
Yes.
so that sort of that category of
Yeah.
things. So but that's yeah. So that is I agree that it's a legal economic problem.
Yeah, legal and
of course it's then a violation of also privacy or abuse basically. So the people will suffer and because of the economic and emotional consequences of that privacy issue. There was still one thing which I wanted to, this all goes in one direction. I wanted to open up it to a different direction as well from these emotions. So to be able to handle different emotions, like to have a speech recognizer which can work with different emotions, or if you want to have an emotional recognition, you need to have data which has different emotions. How do you get that data? Let's say you want, sorry?
Through scraping the web.
Scraping, okay.
So that will be.
That's one approach. I would say that probably has some privacy issues in it. But then how do you, let's say you want to have angry speech.
Yes.
How do you, so if you find data on the web, how do you know if it's angry or not?
You annotate it with the help of.
So human annotator has to annotate again. The accuracy of human annotators is basically multiple annotators who won't agree on what is angry and what's not. So there are some extreme cases where they do agree. Start shouting a lot, that will be angry. But perhaps sad is more difficult. But so if you want to collect data, let's say record data, how do you record angry speech or how do you record sad speech? What is the experimental setting for recording? I bring you a microphone and say, no, be angry. If he's a good actor, yes, he can do acting. But
without their knowledge, we record the information.
Sorry?
Without the knowledge of the person, we record that information.
Yeah. So but so we can. Sorry?
Then ethical problem.
Yeah, so we can ask him to act angry or act sad. But does that correspond to real sadness or real acting? So if you want to have real data, he should be angry or he should be sad. How do we make him feel fear, for example? Boom! Kind of. Yes, so he can get kind of rattled, but it's not really fear. I have to do something bad to him for him to become fearful. I have to hurt him somehow for him to become sad. I really have to annoy him some way for him to be angry. so that would be an ethical issue, how to do a experimental data collection.
I think data in the wild,
Sorry?
data in the wild, like collecting the data of an interview in a YouTube,
Yeah.
or a natural interview recordings and all.
that could be useful to collect angry or different emotions because it comes naturally.
Yeah.
When they get triggered with some questions, obviously their reaction could be different.
Yes. So the kind of in the wild data, so there can be the true emotions there. Just to, but so they are often quite temperate, so they are not extreme emotions, so you get quite narrow set. The only source of fear data, which I know for a fact that it's truly fearful, is the air traffic control data. When, let's say, an airplane has having an emergency and you need to do an emergency landing, and then when they talk to the air traffic control, that will be fearful data. But often they are trained to be like really calm. So it's a sign of professionality to not be not sound fearful in that situation. But so that's the only place where I know you can get real fear in an ethical way. In these scenarios, any ideas? Users. Very good. Let's start with that. So the one who actually is speaking or interacting with the device, the user.
Owner of the device.
Sorry?
Owner of the system.
Owner of the system. Okay. So owner of the device or system. Now it of course depends quite a lot on what the application or the scenario is. So developer, yes. Or good. Government. Sorry? Device. I think one more thing about persons.
The application.
So the
application.
So I'm thinking about persons now as stakeholders, or like organizations.
The policy makers.
So policy makers. Yeah. So that's close to government, but let's do it as different. Policy maker. And let's just to make this more concrete. Let's think about the call center scenario. Let's say an airline call center where you call to change flights, let's say, or something like that. So there we have the user is calling there. The airline owns that service. The developers have made that service, and then the government things and policymakers. Who else is involved?
The customer support.
That's a person.
I said business owners or
Business owners. Okay. So how is that different from owner?
Employees of the
Yeah. So I'm not sure what it refers to, but sure. But you are employees. Yes.
employees.
Yes, employees. So that. Yes.
Researchers.
Sorry.
Researchers.
Researchers. Yes. That comes close to the developers. So they better do it here. R&D or R afterwards. Researchers. But I think this employees is an important, often overlooked part that they are stakeholders in all this. There are multiple roles employees have. It's both those who like maintain, basically maintainers of the service, but also there are kind of fallback. So if you fail with the automatic agent, usually you can get the contact with the real person, or you can be forwarded to a real person. So there's then they could also do the call service, like a service customer support agent. Any more?
Investor.
Sorry?
Investor.
Investor, yes. Any more?
Any like promoters and celebrities who advertise and promote such systems.
Marketing, yes.
Yeah, they don't own stake. They don't own responsibilities.
Testers?
Also, but kind of, they kind of, was not saying someone famous, George Clooney could be like the face of an airline. And if the airline is doing badly, he will have consequences of that. So in that sense, it is marketing also. That's also insurance company. So if something bad happens, they are the one who pays actually.
Testers?
Testers, yes. I'm running out of space. Testers, but so, okay. So we can stop this discussion here. Just, I mean, I'm sure we can think of more stakeholders, but that kind of gives the range of things, kind of, which we have to think about when who could face issues if there's a problem with the service.
Database management?
Yes, well, yes, yeah, that's true. Now we'll move on to the next thing. So I also wanted to look at shortly about trust here at the start. So trust in the service. Let's still talk about the call center. So where does trust appear in the system? Who is trusting and what?
So they assume, like when two people are communicating over a channel, let's say in a call center, they assume that the channel is secure. So.
Okay, so there's a, so who assumes that?
That call center number which is recognized.
So they first this one, finish this one. So
Yeah.
so that you said that the channel is secure.
Yes.
Who kind of depends on that?
So the customer who is
Yes.
who the call center employee is calling.
Yes. Okay, so the customer is placing trust on the channel and also on the service.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one form of trust here. Customers trusting on different modules of the system. Or yes, so now modules of the system. Who else do they trust?
Government.
Sorry?
The government.
I hear
The
you.
government. The government.
Government, yes. So user trusts the government. I assume that they to place rules and kind of boundaries on how they operate. Yes. More trust relationships. Who is trusting what? Well, lots of stakeholders. Just pick one and think about what are they trusting.
The business owners are trusting the developers to.
Yes. So the business owners are trusting developers to do good products.
Trust on the service. Trust on the service what the service provider is giving. So we trust it and we use it.
Yeah. Yes.
Back end we are not sure.
Yes. So the customers need to trust the thing to use it. Otherwise, they will stop using it. So that's the basic trust issue or the most important trust issue that if no one uses it, there's no business. But you have here.
I thought about this when you said one of the most overlooked part is the business owner and employee. Business owner has to have stringent measures on how a third-party data is used. Say, for example, Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Internally, they have very, very, very strict adherence control. If I try to peek on someone's else data, you are fired straight away.
Okay.
Right? So that's the kind of trust the business owners or the orchestrators of the policy inside the organization.
Yeah.
That also plays a very major role. And also like companies like WhatsApp, right, saying that your chats are end-to-end encrypted. The policies of the company also plays a huge role in
the company. Now let's first start with that. You said that Facebook. So if they have rules and kind of ways of enforcing those rules, that if someone leaks data, they get fired. It means that they don't trust their employees. there is
I mean, there are very stringent measures and there are multiple firing that has happened when employee try to peek into even, I mean, the friends' data.
That's very good. I'm happy about that. But at the same time, it's strange that it reflects a mistrust that the company business owners do not trust the employees.
No, I don't think so. Like they have bells and whistles in place to make sure your data is protected from an internal threat. Right? It is not a trust issue. It is having bells and whistles so that nobody kind of like jump over the line basically.
So of course, so I'm just trying to poke this.
It is assuring the customer or the subscriber or the user of Facebook that we have such standards, stringent standards to safeguard your interests, safeguard your data.
So safeguard is very good.
I'll tell you one more example of this, right? I mean, like I work with one of my clients and the client do like earring rendering. You might say like what bad the developers look at the earrings, right? But the company enforced policy right from the start, right? I mean, like what their assumption is, I mean, like I can do earring rendering, right? Even in the most private place. So with no authority, like you can access any of the users' rendered outputs basically.
It's too long a story to repeat to the remote audience, but yes. So anytime you have any data of customers that is private data, we come more to that. But I would claim that actually, so anything can be private data. So a bottle on the table can be private data. If I have the habit to keep a bottle on the table, that tells me that I might buy here when the bottle is there. So anything can be private data. I think Agatha Christie was very good at making these random connections of having plot twist. Some random data revealed the murderer in those stories. And that's a very good example of how anything can be private.